What happens after the last breath? Does the self dissolve into the void or cross portals beyond human comprehension? Welcome, soul traveler, to the mystery of mysteries. Today, we dive into one of the deepest and most enigmatic texts of Tibetan Buddhism, the Bardo Thodol, more commonly known in the West as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Imagine a guide that accompanies you through the most profound and mysterious moments of existence. This is the role of the Bardo Thodol. And no, it's not just a simple manual about the end of life. It's a map, a spiritual guide for what happens immediately after physical death. Get ready, as together we'll traverse this unsettling portal, its messages, and perhaps gain a deeper understanding of what it means to exist. The Bardo Thodol was created by Padmasambhava, a legendary and almost mythical figure in Tibetan Buddhism. Born in India, he is widely recognized as the one who brought Buddhism to Tibet in the 8th century. The Tibetan tradition reveres him as Guru Rinpoche, meaning precious master. But Padmasambhava was not just a monk, he was a profound spiritual master, a yogi who mastered mystical techniques and esoteric teachings. The Bardo Thodol was born from this master's desire to guide not only the living, but also the dead, offering them a path to liberation even after the last breath. From a young age, Padmasambhava exhibited extraordinary mystical abilities, being recognized as a Mahasiddha, a figure who attained an extreme level of spiritual realization, developing spiritual powers or siddhis considered miraculous. He was invited to Tibet by King Trisong Detsen, who sought to expand Buddhism and spiritually strengthen the country, unifying the people under one belief system. At that time, Tibet was a place of intense shamanic practices and animistic beliefs, strongly rooted in the Bon religion, the indigenous Tibetan spiritual practice. This diverse and even chaotic spiritual atmosphere presented challenges for the spread of Buddhism. Upon arriving in Tibet, Padmasambhava faced resistance from various cultural and spiritual forces, such as the local deities and spirits of the Bon tradition. Using his knowledge of magic and tantric rituals, he was able to tame these spirits. This integration of deities from the Bon tradition and practices into Tibetan Buddhism was crucial for establishing a lasting spiritual foundation. Thus, Padmasambhava founded Tibet's first Buddhist monastery, Samye Monastery, and began transmitting profound teachings on the mind, reality, and the cycle of existence known as samsara. In Tibetan Buddhism, there is an understanding that death is not the end, but a transitional state, a moment of opening to the possibility of spiritual liberation. Padmasambhava understood that at the moment of death, the mind enters a special state where, free from the distractions of the physical body, it becomes more receptive to ultimate truth. He realized that this was a unique moment for liberation, but he also knew that most people, when they die, get lost in illusions and fears that prevent this possibility. His mission was to create a guide that could be recited by those accompanying the dying or even studied during life, so that the mind would be prepared for the bardos, the states of transition after death. Essentially, he sought to alleviate suffering and open doors to enlightenment, even when everything seems uncertain and dissolving. This compassion is the foundation of the Bardo Thodol. He also knew that many would not reach enlightenment in life, but he saw death as a final opportunity. Thus, he offered instructions for practitioners and disciples to recognize the clear light, the pure manifestation of the mind, at the moment of their death. The Bardo Thodol guides us through 3 main states, or bardos, that every soul passes through. The first is the Che Bardo, the moment of death. In the Che Bardo, the soul experiences the moment of death itself, a transitional point where the physical body dissolves and the consciousness is freed from material limitations. Once the dissolution is complete, the soul encounters the primordial, clear light, described in the Bardo Thodol as a dazzling, pure, and immense light. The clear light is the manifestation of the absolute nature of the mind, a state of pure, unconditional consciousness, where there is no duality, fear, or attachment. Some call it the higher self, others the solar mind. There are many names for this state of totality and infinite peace. For the spiritual practitioner, the Bardo offers the possibility of final liberation. If the soul is able to recognize the clear light as part of its essence, it attains instant liberation, nirvana, and there is no need to pass through the other stages of the Bardo. This recognition does not depend on rituals or doctrines, but is a direct and complete experience of the truth, where the mind sees itself without filters or distortions. At this moment, all conditioning, karma, and identities dissolve,